True with GunsAmerica's Hunt365, and we are looking at the UBCO Hunt Edition bike today. So this is it sitting right here in front of me. This is a completely electric bike, and it has applications obviously for hunting, which is what we're going to be talking about today, but for all sorts of other things as well, like doing things at night with night vision, prepping, survival. This can actually be charged with a solar panel. We're going to do a separate video on that completely, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you see that. Now, to start this thing out, this is not just a standard bike, and if you notice, there's no pedals on it like you've seen on many electric bikes. What it's got in each hub is an electric motor. They're 1.7 kilowatt motors, and they both spin at the same time. So this is actually a two-wheel drive e-bike, if you want to call it that. So the advantage of that is it is way more stable. Instead of just the back wheel sitting and spinning or not having the power, the front wheel assists it, and they together can pull big guys like me up stuff we really probably have no business going up. So I actually own 3 of the old Rokon motorcycles. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them before, but they've been in outdoor magazines since before I was a little kid. For a really long time, military has used them, special forces have used them, and they're chain driven with a motor, and they're two-wheel drive. And so this is kind of that concept, but with electric motors. So full suspension, there are shocks and suspension in both the front and the back. It's got disc brakes, and it's got an interesting feature. It's called regenerative braking, and it's like actual motor braking. So think about like a diesel where the engine slows it down. When it does that, it actually recharges the battery. The battery is rechargeable, and this one comes with a 3.1 kilowatt hour battery, and it actually sits under the seat here. Let me move some stuff so you can see where it's at. So it actually sits down here. It's got 2 handles on it. You can pop it out. I take it inside to charge it, but it's really easy to pop in and out. It weighs, I'm not actually sure what it weighs. The whole bike weighs 156 pounds with the battery in it, so it's actually relatively light. A guy like me can throw it around. When it comes to loading it, I can do it by myself without a ramp. I can pick it up and stick it in the back of a truck. I've stuck it on motorcycle carriers. It's pretty handy that way. Now, obviously it's easier with 2 people, but it can be done. So let's talk about the other things. It's got front and rear brakes. It's got a LED 2400 lumen light on the top. It comes when it ships with a bow or gun holder up here. I've actually used it for a tripod and kept my gun in a backpack, but it would certainly work for that. These are pronghorn straps, and it comes with those. It comes with the full racks in the front and the back. It's got these knobby motorcycle tires. They're a mud terrain motorcycle tire. The seat picks up, and underneath it here is a field kit with the tools you might need to fix or tighten things down should anything come loose. It's got these sort of moly panels or plastic panels that you can strap stuff to, that with all these holes in it, and you can screw things to it. It's got the kick guard, and then the foot pegs lift up. It's got a big skid plate on the bottom. It's got an LED display here, so let me turn this on. You can actually see it's got colors. You can tell it's only got 1 gear, neutral or drive. Gives you a speed. It's got an odometer. It's got 3 different power settings. So it's got an eco mode for going further distances. It's got normal, and then it's got like the high power. This bike actually, the Hunt Edition, goes faster than the other UBCO bikes. It actually will do 40 miles an hour, which in rough terrain I would not want to do that, but on smooth road, if you hit a paved road or a gravel road, then you certainly can crank it up and do that. The battery is rated for 75 miles between charges. Now, I'm going to get into all this and tell you what my experience with all this has been, but that's what it's advertised at. Now, obviously, clearly in good conditions, good weather, all that kind of stuff, it is a battery. So it's really easy to control. These are your headlights over here. It doesn't have blinkers, so this does nothing, and it does have a horn, which I actually have found to be kind of annoying. Apparently there's a stealth mode in the app that you can turn it off with. There's one button over here that turns on and off. Comes with a key that you can lock the battery into the bike so it cannot be removed. And it also has a fob that will not allow it to move unless the fob turns it on. I haven't done those things because I haven't needed to, but those are the features to keep somebody from stealing it. Now, the other things that it comes with are, this is a little different. It's got this container right here that allows you to carry stuff in the center of the bike. This, it's not really a sword. It's a Japanese sort of machete. It says bare bones on it. It's a Nata knife. It comes with it for some reason. Now, I don't have a lot of use for this. Maybe other people use these things a different way, which is why I haven't mounted it on here, but I'm just telling you what it comes with. It comes with a phone mount. So this mounts on your handlebar and this goes to your phone. It's a universal adapter, so you can put your phone on here. And with your phone, you have additional features, things that you can't do on just the LED display. So you can change settings, update the firmware. When I first got this, I had no idea there was a phone app, didn't know that's what I needed to change modes, and I was sitting here pushing the buttons and going, oh geez. Nowhere in the owner's manual does it tell you need the phone app to be able to work this thing. So I'm telling you guys right now, the phone app makes your life easier. All you have to do is turn it on, it connects via Bluetooth, finds your bike, you hit connect, and then you can change all the settings in it. It's actually really, really quite easy. So that's the basic features. Now let's talk about my experience with this. So I have wolf hunted in the dark with night vision and thermal on this. I spent some time up in the Idaho mountains, really steep, nasty crap. Really cold, like really, really cold. Like I wore insulated pants, 2 or 3 coats, had gear, thermals, guns, collars. Me and my buddy went out and we took these and we did 21 miles on really steep mountains, trails, roads, ice, snow, and just cold. And when we got back, I was a little worried about how the batteries were going to last and that kind of stuff. When we got back, we still had about a quarter of the battery left. Now, it's rated at 75 miles, but that's not with guys as big as me and with all that equipment. The bike's rated for 330 pounds. That's gear and the rider. So, to be honest with you guys, I'm a pretty big guy, and with no clothes on, I'm like that 260 mark. So that's a pretty big guy on here. And then you add a backpack and boots, coats, guns, optics, food, water, all that crap that I carry around. And I'm probably pushing this bike right up near that 315 mark all the time. So that's kind of the story there. Has it been able to do it? Yeah, the answer is yes, it handled it fine. I actually did some coyote hunting on this, quite a bit of it. The advantage is it is completely silent. We had snow drifts over a foot deep. Some of them are probably close to 18 inches, and it plowed through with the 2-wheel drive, no problem. Through sagebrush, snow, not an issue at all. I think I have some footage of a coyote strapped on the back of it, but we were able to get closer and not have to walk as far because these are so quiet. So speaking of quiet, the noise that these put out, if you start this up, it's started up right now, and I kick the kickstand off, put it in gear, and it's ready to go. It makes 0 sound. As you can hear, there's nothing there, no noise whatsoever, and it just will take off and go. Now, is there some noise from tires hitting rocks? Yeah, like rubber on gravel, it's gonna make that much noise. And maybe there's a slight amount of noise, just a kind of a hum as things move. But it has not got any engine noise whatsoever. So from that advantage, this is the ultimate hunting machine because it is silent, goes 40 miles an hour, has 2-wheel drive, carries a pretty big payload. It's honestly, kind of the best thing out there for that. So do I think that this is going to completely replace gas-powered motors? Not yet. I don't think it's quite got the ability to climb steep stuff yet. My Rokons will still climb steeper stuff and they'll just crawl up it. This has to have a little bit more momentum or else it just spins out. So that would be my only complaint is I actually wish that it had just a little bit more torque maybe. I feel like to get up steep stuff I have to have some momentum, otherwise I've got my feet down walking with it just a little bit. One of the other advantages this has when you're out glassing or hunting is that instead of having to stand it up, you can just lay it down and hide it in sagebrush. You can cover it with sticks. You don't have to worry about it flooding and that not starting when you come back to it. One of the huge advantages of the UBCO bike is that it's light enough that if you come up to a log or a pile of brush or a washed out trail, that you can actually get it around it. You don't need to carry a shovel. You don't need to have an axe or a chainsaw or anything like that with you. They're light enough to just pick them up and move them over. I hear guys all the time talk about how they wouldn't want to hunt off of one of these, but they'll hunt off of an e-bike. So here's the story from a legal standpoint. National Forest Service considers anything that's electronically driven the same thing as a motorcycle. So if your regular bicycle has a battery on it, it is now a motorcycle. You can only ride it on trails open to motorcycles. So same laws apply here. Anything you can hunt on a motorcycle on, you can hunt one of these. The huge advantage to one of these over hunting off a motorcycle is that you can do it so quietly. You can get in and get out without being seen or heard. Now, I know there's all kinds of e-bikes with pedals. I own one of them already. This is better. This is more like an actual motorcycle. It's got more power. The two-wheel drive thing is crazy. The suspension is fantastic. Those other ones, they have to pedal. If the battery really dies, you don't have the assist, they suck to pedal. Like, they are the worst. So I'm not actually a huge fan of those. There's more moving parts, they're noisier, the chains, all that. This is, in my opinion, out of everything I've ridden, the best electronic hunting machine that I have been on. So is it perfect? Absolutely not. There's a few things I wish they would fix. Like, I wish the headlight didn't just come on when you turned it on. I hate that about it. I wish it had a red filter. I wish that the horn was automatically disabled from the start. This isn't a street legal version, and so I hate the chance of accidentally bumping that. I'm probably going to end up taking the back rack off because I carry a gun in a backpack and it kind of just sits in the way a little bit. I'll leave the front rack on to tie stuff to, but it would certainly handle some game quarters. I did some deer and elk hunting on it and rode some really steep, nasty horse trails. And when there's a lot of ruts and rocks, if you don't have momentum, it struggles, because if you go slow, then the front wheel spins out on you. You end up kind of walking along next to it and gunning it up, that stuff, rather than riding. But when things are not crazy steep, you can get on this thing and cruise. It's less scary to me going down steep stuff than it is going up it for some reason. The regenerative braking in the motors and the brakes are such that I actually feel safer going down than going up really steep stuff. What else am I missing here? Comes with 3 months of Onyx Elite in addition to the other accessories. The price on it, the full MSRP, is $64.99, and UBCO has actual financing at 0% interest that you can apply for, which makes that really a pretty good deal when you consider that you could put your money in the market and earn interest while you made your payments. So that's a valid deal there. The battery charges pretty quickly, 4 to 6 hours. It doesn't take very long at all to do that. So overall, I think this thing is a winner. I have only tipped it over once, and it was actually on dry ground. It was not when I was out in the snow and ice, which is surprising. I was kind of screwing around, but I do not wear plate protector. I haven't worn a helmet, and I'm not wearing motorcycle boots, and I have felt like I could control this to a reasonable amount that wasn't necessary like it would be on a motorcycle. So the suspension is adjustable somewhat. There's some knobs down here that allow you to adjust the firmness, softness, the rate of travel. The front has a different control than the back. I forget what they call them up there. But overall, this thing doesn't cost anything to ride once you've got it. A little bit of electricity to charge the battery, and then you're going to go a lot of miles. Now, I was going to talk about the battery in my experience. So on sagebrush, just kind of rolly stuff, a guy my size, I think we got, in really cold temperatures with snow, I think we got like 45 miles out of them on one day. If you guys weighed 100 pounds less than I do, or 75 pounds less than I do, and they're out on flat stuff, I have no doubt that you're going to get the 75 miles that's advertised. We just recognize the more stuff and the steeper and the harder you get on this, the faster you ride it, the more battery you're going to use. So I haven't ridden it in economy mode yet. If you put it in economy mode and really babied it, you're certainly going to get more miles out of it, but that's been my experience so far. So this is just the first of a number of videos we're going to do. We have some other stuff we're going to do in the dark. This is an amazing bike for in the dark missions, whether it's hunting or other things, just because it's completely silent. Black it out, run it with night vision. It's a great prepper option because it can be charged with solar panels, and it's got such a good range, and it'll go across such crazy terrain for being what it is. The only weighing, I was going to tell you as well, if the weight is an issue for you, I take the battery out before I load it in the truck. That knocks off, I don't know what the battery weighs, 30 or 40 pounds. The battery's heavy. You can switch batteries, so you could buy a second one and hot swap batteries. No reason you couldn't strap one on the front rack and actually double your mileage. So that is also an option. Anyway, go check out UBCO's site, watch and subscribe so that you can see the next video when we come out with it. We appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time here at Guns America's Hunt 365.